Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, today is another special day where we meet to hear about something very, very, very special. And I'm talking about Relefy Media. Why is Relefy Media very special? I think this is what we meet here to find out. This is what we're about to find out today. And with me, as you can see on your screen, I have co-founders of Relefy Media. We have Lauri Mylläri, we have Filip Ekman. I suppose I've said the name correctly. Yeah, and
Yeah,
these two
sure.
will tell us about Relefy Media. Why do we have Relefy Media? What is it going to do? What should we expect? And especially from the international community point of view, because this is where I'm interested in. I'm part of the
Yeah,
international community in Finland, and we hope that Relefy Media is going to do something about us. Of course, me personally, I already had a discussion with Mr. Rowley, and we also had a virtual meeting with Philip, and they broke down a little bit about Relefy Media, and I got so much interested. And I said I must have this podcast so that other colleagues, you can also hear from them directly, the first hand, as people say it. Yeah, and so this is an opportunity. And before we jump to the discussion about Relefy Media, let's get to know about the founders, because when the founders are the business, even if the business is different, but what drives the business is the faith of the people driving the business. Isn't that right, Mr. Rauri?
For sure, yeah, and I think it always starts from the question why, right? When you know the
yeah,
why, it's easy to start planning and then execute and grow. So it's everything starts from the why, then how and then what. So. Well, I'm a portfolio entrepreneur. I've been full-time entrepreneur like 6.5 years now. Before that, I was working with problematic youth. Nice way to say it, actually. For 15 years, and on the side hustle, I had like plenty of different kind of businesses going on, events, house DJ, plenty of different kind of things. But then when I decided to dive into full-time entrepreneurship, I've been studying, learning, improving, making mistakes, making more mistakes and more mistakes, and trying to learn again, and just trying to make it for 6.5 years, now. Um, some of this Relefy Media is actually, um, I believe the reason, one of the reasons why we actually building this is that um, it's an easy start from the scratch, right? Especially in the countries like Finland, where everything is regulated. Uh, just when you think about to make a million, you will get a bill of 300,000 straight up, So when you just even think about it, right? So so and that's not even a joke, unfortunately. So because if you put in the papers that my revenue is going to be 1 million, they're going to send you a bill of around 300,000. I'm I have a massive amount of friends and cool people around me all over the world. For example, now we are opening one business in Kenya, in Southern America, and USA. We are calling it USA and everything. There's plenty of things going on, but in a nutshell, the values which applies to probably most of things what I believe in are in Relefy Media, and I think that's the reason why we here with Philip actually.
yeah. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. By the way, my name is Filip Ekman. Uh, how best to describe myself? Perhaps I could also call myself, a portfolio entrepreneur like Lauri. Uh, what I specifically do at the point, I think that my main thing today is making Relefy Media work. I also do some B2B sales consulting, and I think that pretty much all of my so-called uh, personal business and Relefy have much in common because it's all based on pretty much, not to sound like too crazy, but making the world a better place by facilitating growth. And in a way, in my personal business with my book, Modern Cold Calling, it's, more about, actually leashing your value to the customer and not being afraid to disturb somebody, but really knowing that you and the customer are on the same team, and you both have a mutual goal to achieve, and the salesperson's job is to lead that project in the best way and be the one proactive who will find the opportunity in the first place. And Relefy Media has much of the same things because there is, well, I wouldn't want to talk too much about Finland because we are targeting a global market, but Finland is, a very good example of, what's wrong or broken in a way. We have lots of, R&D and technology and, know-how and skill, probably the most educated country per capita, but then we have, a lot of hurdles that a friction that doesn't let that talent grow into businesses that create jobs and prosperity and things like that. And it's not only government, high taxation, bureaucracy and all of that, but I think that the core issue is actually in the in the information that we are taught in schools, in media, and everywhere. You starting your business and doing something great. It feels for many like a dream. It's like so far away from the education system. It's so far away from regular work. Even education, even though they teach entrepreneurship, it's such a different work to actually start a business and living through that business unless you have lots of money to start with. So basically, what we're trying to do here in Relefy Media is not only have an inspirational media, but pretty much have a relevance engine to use all of that information available in the world and filter out what the signals that help people achieve build great things.
I see, and I love also your point about bringing together this information, because as far as I've been able to understand, Finland up to this moment is that we have pretty much of information, almost in many fields. But the thing is, this
Yeah,
information only circulates in small bubbles, in small closed groups. So for someone who is
yeah,
not connected in these big networks, it's easy to be left out. Or you would get a very
yeah.
small segment of information, then you have to look for another segment, you have to look for another segment. So I love this idea of bringing together.
I just fully agree everything with what Filip said, and I see that there's plenty of work to do, but also sometimes it's like a mindset question in the end of the day. Like I mean, in the end of the day, if we wanted to simplify what we are doing, we want to support people to find the growth mindset. Like the kind of like the lifelong mindset of growing your skills, growing your attitude, growing your philosophy, growing your point of views to different things and so on. And in the end of the day, what's the best way to make this happen, in my opinion? And it's actually entrepreneurship, right? Because they need to do all of these things on a daily basis, basically.
I see. Yeah, thank you so much. So the question I wanted to start with you, Mr. Philip, though you have already explained, both of you have already
Yeah.
explained in part why we have Relefy Media, but I wanted also to ask a question like, why do we have Relefy Media? Are you trying to solve the challenge you yourselves have gone through? Because you are founders, maybe you have gone through, you have seen the reality, or have you
Yes.
just studied the challenge in Finland and now you are
Uh,
trying to solve something?
Yes, very good point, and I love it that you start, with the why. We should have done it, ourselves, naturally with Lauri too. But I think I remember the day when we started, talking about this, Relefy. It wasn't called Relefy then, but I remember we we sat and ate on a bench in Ruoholahti somewhere, and had lunch, and we talked about all kinds of random things, and somehow we got into the thing that we have both been very annoyed with is how entrepreneurs are displayed in media, and I'm sure and it was something we both felt very strongly about, and also the negative sentiment of the media in the first place, even though they are not even talking about entrepreneurs. But should they talk about entrepreneurs, which they usually don't, it's always in a negative way that some founder made more money than someone else, and it's unfair, and they are greedy robber barons and so forth. And I've been personally insulted by media myself when I was younger. I had just gone graduated from Hanken School of Economics with finance as a major, and all those Lehman Brothers and all of those failed at that same time. It was 2000, between 2008 and 2010 when I was supposed to graduate. So I founded a company that made basically candy out of Finnish wild berries, blueberry and lingonberry, and Helsingin Sanomat. They published somebody's opinion who said that this is a complete scam. They claimed to produce in Finland, but she did some research and found out that it was produced in France. And nowhere had we talked about producing in Finland. We talked about that the berries are from here, and we will produce in whatever country that wants to work with a small startup, who can't commit into high volume and so forth, and that was available in France at that point in time. So that's why we did it there, and also it was more competitive. They were friendlier and everything like that. But the biggest newspaper in the country puts that much effort to talk bad about a young person starting his first company. I thought it was absolutely crazy. And I have seen similar things about many other people. For example, I know of a woman who gives some kind of coaching. Basically, she helps experts sell their own services in a scalable and more profitable way, and her service costs a lot. And Helsingin Sanomat also told that there are people who have paid for this and still they are not millionaires. It's completely crazy. It's like I have a gym membership, but my six pack is not showing, or okay, it's under the fat of my belly, but it's not. I wouldn't go so far on to blame the actual gym. It's not their fault. It's me who doesn't go there, and me who drinks too much beer and it's all kind of unhealthy crap. So it's it's crazy. But if the magazine would have interviewed me, then it would probably have displayed that large gym chain as the criminal situation.
I see. Maybe let's also hear from Mr. Lauri.
Yeah, in my opinion, the main thing is to build a movement where people all around the world support each other to be better entrepreneurs and improve all those skills, right? But if we talk about like just to start in Finland, like I have some statistics here from real statistics from government level, right? So the revenue in Finland made by immigrant entrepreneurs are between 4.3 to 5 billion euros year, and they are employing 27,000 people in Finland. And actually, all the statistics says that immigrants in Finland are much more likely to be entrepreneurs and work with in that zone. So they want to to establish companies and so on, and it's made especially if you just box Finland, for a Relefy context, it's kind of like a made hard in kind of, So for example, in France, we just actually today we established a concierge company in Paris. So I'm pretty hyped about it actually. So I'm a partner of a Parisian company starting today officially. Been a long time, some months, but now I'm officially. But anyhow, in France, it's free to start a company. If you start it like by yourself, right? So it's free, and then the first payment comes when you are actually making money, and there's no any payments before you do it. And in Netherlands, for example, it's with this how called like unemployment benefits. You can work as an entrepreneur. You can build a business and work half a year with the employment benefits. Here, if you go to play guitar to old people's house, you're counted as an entrepreneur, and they cut your all the benefits, right? This happened for real in Finland.
It has, it was the money involved.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a hobby that you build games, the officials may think that you're an entrepreneur. So these kind of like things, like just to start a Finland, So I know there's like obstacles to make the step, right? But still, so many immigrants are making it. So in the end of the day, I believe it's not just actually, it's not about people are from other countries. That's not the reason. Actually, the reason is that we are so away from natural way of being human in Finland. What I mean by this is like my 7-year-old girl. She came yesterday from the school home, and she said, like, Papa, I I trade my pieces of my strawberries, the quarters of my strawberries. I traded to this cookie, this some candy and 10 chips, whatever, And I was like, I was so proud of her, and she was like, because she's kind of like going around everybody, like I have this quarter. This is the most delicious strawberry you ever taste. I think so. Could you change it to a chocolate bar? And then they're like, oh yeah, So I'm so proud of my kid, that she's making it. So it's natural, right? It's natural to make trade. Trade making is natural. And like I can quote Filip actually, even though you are here. Like when you have those mammoths, right? That's right, right? Mammoths. Like and we were some freaking cave people, whatever, So you kill one, all right, you kill one, and it fell down, and you're like, how can I get this home? Of course, you go back to those guys and you say like, you two, how about the leg, mammoth leg, if you carry it with me, So you understand, right? It's natural way. But during some times after the Industrial Revolution, somebody invented that it's time, just that if you put some time, you need to get something, right? So that's kind of like the thing, it's paid by the time. Most of the freaking professions on earth could be monetized by and measured by the outcome, not the time you put in it, right? Not all of them. For example, if you're security guard, I don't want you to get paid for how many people you stopped on the way to shop, like that's not the way. But most of the things you could like, and the funniest part of it, as I work so many years with kids, so many years with kids, and I am a father for myself as well. It's natural. I've seen it's natural to make trade, negotiate, make deals, and then whatever you get, like it's a way to that everybody wins, right? In the end of the day, and of course always everybody, not always everybody wins, right? But still, for me, in the end of the day, it's like the small players, the small average people, in that sense, like you can be even rich, but in your mind, you're the average guy, you know, who just want to make his living a natural way, which is the trade, you know. And there's no such media as this one, right? It's always, and most of those entrepreneur or business medias, they're about Elon Musk, whatever, this kind of thing, you know. And for us, it's about to leave those ones who are working hard trying to make it, you know. And most of the time we see the winners, right? But we want everybody to be winners in this, in that sense, you know. And it's in the end of the day, it's not even about the money, it's the freedom, right? You know,
Yeah.
freedom to make trade, freedom to survive.
You have mentioned some challenges that many entrepreneurs, especially startups, are facing in Finland. What are the challenges now you as a Relefy Media are facing? Do you face any challenges, or you already cocked to help other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, do we have any challenges? Well, where would I start? Well, I think it's the same. Most things are similar, at least. I wouldn't say the same, but when you have a company, you need to clarify exactly what your company does, and you need somebody to buy something from you, and also typically you also need to find suitable talent, be it partners or employees, investors typically also. So there are pretty many things you have to do together, and the information to do that is available there, but it's very scattered, and typically you're not supposed to do everything yourself if you want to succeed, because you will eventually go crazy. It's that the things that need to get done that grows exponentially when you move from employment to entrepreneurship, and meeting the right people and building a team is much more important, because typically what is taught in school is that learn these specific things, remember these specific things, so that you can repeat these specific things on a test or anything like that. And if you ask somebody or look at somebody's paper, it's cheating and things like that. It's very very it it doesn't really teach you to build anything, because typically when you build anything, it's not perhaps that much what you know, because there's always somebody else who knows. If you just have to find a smart way to collaborate with these people and these companies, these ideas and these systems that are already available. But I think that here with me and Lauri, and when we have such complex business as this, media is only one piece of the puzzle. There's also the community and the technology and the ecosystem framework that we are trying to build here. So it's not perhaps even, and it doesn't have to be even fully clear exactly how everything will be monetized in the end. But we do have a plan on where to start and where to move on next. I think that the biggest challenge for anybody, even regardless if you're an entrepreneur, is prioritization and focus. And I think that's something that
That's true.
we are also aware of right now.
I believe that we all learn that the simplest way to monetize our business at this moment is to monetize, not to monetize, but just to sell our technology. So we are scraping news from more than 150,000 news sources worldwide, and then we have the AI layer, and our amazing CTO Amir is doing amazing work. So we actually already have like some customers in the pipeline, and we are doing constantly also reach to US and other countries as well. So that's something which has been resonating within the people quite a lot. So because in the end of the day, it comes to the trust, right? So that's that. We know how to build the how to sort out the trust trustable sources. But at the same time, our own media side is something which we need to build the trust during the time, right? So most of the media has a history of tens or hundreds of years when they started, So of course that's one, but I believe that podcast like this and just to be out there, in that sense, solves that situation, right? But yeah, so I think the let's say revenue solution at this moment, the solution for getting the right amount of revenue is selling the tech product, which is behind all these things. So yeah.
I see. And
And
now, if I should ask you one more question, now from the international community perspective, how open is Relefy Media into working with internationals? Many employers in Finland, they are preferable to Finnish language speakers. Of course, maybe they could accept foreigners, but they want them to have a fair level of Finnish language. Would you be open to receive foreigners who don't speak Finnish at all, or you are also strict, or you're not hiring any person at the moment? Maybe we can start with Filip.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because we are, targeting, global markets and internationals, typically might have, some context context that we don't have here, and they might have all kinds of things, like they might, perhaps they even, lack some of the poison that has been, put into our, heads by this, media we have in the country, and the school system, and the huge, public sector, and that brainwashing away from entrepreneurship. So we don't want to discriminate against anybody, but we might actually prefer, international, employees and, partners.
Amazing. Lauri, anything to add there?
Yeah, actually, totally, we are five now. So me and Filip are the only Finnish speakers here. So most definitely, and also the fact is that like everybody in the tech speaks anyways English. So so what I mean, like it's even for why to kind of like prefer Finnish speakers. Like there's no any reason for it in our opinion. I think Filip agrees with me.
Yeah, I see.
I see.
I see. Thank you so much from that. Now, perhaps I think we should be wrapping up very shortly. Maybe you can tell us, Filip, first. Now, what should we expect from Relefy? But first of all, before you respond, I should congratulate you for launching Relefy Media. It was launched, I think, in April or May this year. You will tell us more about it, and then after you have told us, you can tell us what should we expect in the future from Relefy Media if all goes well.
Good question. I think that, what's most, visible, of what we are trying to do, and is the media side of things. We are going to, the social aspect of it is probably one of the, next step, because as we, discussed here earlier, it's not perhaps, just what you know, but what's, important. In order to build something, you have to have the right people and all the right connections. So a way to, find these people is something that we are also trying to bring forward. So I encourage, anybody to register for free. Later, there in the registration process, the user will be prompted to, tell exactly, what kinds of, things that they would need, be it, investors, partners, or perhaps they would like to, share whatever, knowledge and expertise they have through our system. Because I think that, one thing that we will do very well, as many medias typically interview experts and so forth, we will be, more creative in whom we interview and how we will bring that information forward to the right purpose. I think that's also why where the Relefy name comes from, because information or knowledge is not power, it's only potential power, and we want to unleash it, find it, the name comes from make it relevant for you basically. So we're trying to
pedal to the metal until we reach the international entrepreneurial community, and then we're gonna put even more gas. Well, LinkedIn, our own website. We are launching some new social media channels as well soon. We already have Facebook, so on, but like we go around startup events, some entrepreneurial events, and most of all, it's a community in the making. So hopefully we are a great amount of us next year. So during this time, so thousands of people. So that's where we're heading to. So, but at this moment, both of us, me and Phil, we can find in the LinkedIn and our own Relefy Media page there as well, and of course relefy.io. So that's put it straight to your domain and so on.
Interesting. Let us wrap up by hearing closing remarks from both of you. We can start with Philip. Anything you may want our listeners to live with right now? Philip, we can start with you. Yes.
Yes. Was the specific question, or could I say whatever
just closing remarks? We are now wrapping up. Any closing remark, like any message that you may want our audience to live with at the moment?
Yes, lots of great things will come. So follow us on every social media we are active on at the moment. It's LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. We will soon bring TikTok also. If you follow us, that might change a lot of what you will see in your feed. You will probably see things that will help you bring you forward towards your goals. Also, I encourage you to register on the actual site and read some of the articles we have there, because you might find some signal or inspiration that might also help you achieve great things and make the world a better place too.
You don't know if you don't that are you alive tomorrow. You may die today. So I really recommend everybody to reach their dreams today, not just like when the time is right, when there's so many wins and so on. So the right time is now, actually. So it's not tomorrow. It wasn't definitely it wasn't yesterday. That was the best time was yesterday, and the second one is now. So you start now, whatever you're doing, and this is some philosophy we want to spread also for people, and we want to gather around all the information, so people can make it here in Finland, but and in the future abroad as well. So that's about it.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, for following up. Yeah, actually, I would love to inform you that I'm also working with Relefy Media as an intern at the moment. And who knows, maybe if things go well, maybe we will have a long-term relationship, collaboration, or partnership. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, so that we can have more podcasts like this. We can have like interviews and podcasts to just break down stuff and make it easy for our audience to make sure that you dive, you digest, and you benefit from it. Yeah, apart from that, please, just like what Mr. Philip said, make sure you follow all Relefy Media channels, especially on LinkedIn and Facebook. That's where you already have your channel, so people should follow there to get updated on the information and different events that you are planning forward. Yeah, so apart from that, let me wish you all a wonderful evening.